Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Ref the District's Day After Reckoning. I'm Nathan Perry. No Trev, no Stoner. So we've pulled an okie doke on you, and we're bringing an all Perry cast. We got EP in the house to make sure it's not just myself talking to myself. Of course, we'll always have you in the chat. We appreciate all the support. We got some people in here nice and early there, EP. We got Command This. We got Tommy T. Yam all the way from Japan. Daniel in the house. Michael, Tommy T. bringing up the truth. 0-3-1 these last 4 games. Michael F. the last 4 games. Absolutely. Andre in the house. Tougher guy as well. Day After Reckoning, we bring up and we hash out the game the day before from the Washington Commanders. In this case, it was a 24-10 loss to the Cleveland Browns at home with the playoffs on the line. No more playoff talk. Washington has been eliminated. That loss to Cleveland, coupled with the Green Bay victory and Detroit victory, means EP. We ain't got no playoffs. We ain't got nothing to play for next week when we face Dallas. That will be the topic, though, for Wednesday's show. This show is going to be on the Cleveland Browns game and a couple other kind of topics in there. What happened during the game as far as the Hogs were concerned. Major Tutty is going to be a point of discussion. Fan appreciation is going to be there. And then you guys might witness a live divorce happen right here on Ref the District, or at least I might be, down here, staying down here on the couch as EP is a part of the Heineke Hive, and I have well documented not. I'm also, for the record, for everyone who might be misinterpreting my talks on Heineke over the last couple of days, I'm not on the winch train either. Never was. Never ever was. No, I have video proof. I have video proof of never being on the winch train. So just want to make sure that's clear. QB1 is not on the roster. That will be a discussion for this show as well. EP has stats. Go ahead and show your paperwork.
Look, I'm ready.
Yeah, she's ready. She's pulled up all sorts of things to make sure that she is ready for this conversation. Let's get through some of the things. Trev is not here because he's at Sky Bar right now. You can catch him there in Lexington, Virginia, one of our sponsors. Just make sure that you mention Ref the District, and you get your first drink on the house from us. So make sure you do that. Bonafide picker. That's why EP, the smart one in the family. I definitely, that's fair. She's the pretty one too. So that's Sky Bar. We're also sponsored by manscaped.com. Make sure you have manscaped.com. Use the code REF, REF, and you'll get yourself 20% off and free shipping. It's good. Actually, they just sent me a care package. EP loves the shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. Says that it smells great. The deodorant as well. Make sure you get yourself some as well. 20% off manscaped.com. Use the code REF. And Pacers Running for every run. They've got you taken care of. Hit them up in person in one of their 5 stores here in the DMV, or you can go online to Pacers Running. Get yourself a free online virtual fitting and get you in the right pair of shoes to keep you mobile this year, 2023. I know you have some resolutions that you want to hit, and they'll make sure you're in the right one here. Let's see what we got in the chat here. Andre, our offense never helped our defense, balled out all year. Yeah, they got beat at times, but not want to lose the game. The offense was no help, no new QB, offensive line, linebacker, cornerback, and we should be a contender for no QB. Same problem. Yeah, next year, the laundry list of things for what we got. Trevor coming in strong. Hashtag fire Ron Rivera. Hashtag Scotty doesn't know. Scotty gotta go. And hashtag there wins our season. I like that one.
That's good.
That one's clever. The Scotty doesn't know. Scotty's gotta go was a chant we had going for the Washington Wizards and trying to get out there, Scott. Now we're going to have to do it again because Scott Turner, not the answer, averaging less than 20 points EP over the last 2 years. You just can't win games that way. And I know you're going to want to get into it here as well. Cam Mingo. Hi, Mrs. Perry.
Hello.
Gregory Tuddy should be Turdy. Michael Major Duddy. Yeah, absolutely. It's been rough. We got Shady Katie in the house. Appreciate you that. Appreciate Alcatone, and it's finally Sam time. We'll see. Ron Rivera today. I don't know if you saw this, but Ron Rivera today said no decision on the QB yet. They're going to play to win the game. I fully expect it's going to be Sam Howell. But again, that'll be a conversation for Wednesday. We do have a poll up on our community page right now that Sam Howell's leading. Get your thoughts in on that one. Make sure you let us know because we'll be reading off some of the comments there. All right. EP.
Yes.
Thoughts on the Browns game yesterday? Let's get back. Let's get to this day after reckoning.
Well, the quarterback sucked. Our offense wasn't the greatest. But I think in their defense, a lot of it had to do with the change of quarterback. So they play completely different. Our defense looked pretty decent. It was great to see Chase for the second time, but to see him at home. Special teams, not the greatest. I was really sad about Jarrett because he is my man, but he didn't play very well.
You're not a fan of him returning? I'm surprised he didn't wear your Jarrett frickin' Patterson shirt.
I should have, but I thought it was going to be cold, so I dressed warm in my new sweater that you bought me. But he didn't play very well. I don't think that was a good fit for him to receive the ball.
Interesting. You mentioned that poor QB play. That's going to be a topic for a little bit later yet. Mm-hmm. Carson Wentz, absolutely awful. The whole team just didn't play well. And you know, special teams, you know, it's not really something you really notice all that time. Jarrett Patterson ran a couple kicks out. Didn't get any further than anybody else had this year. Punting was what it was. Mm-hmm. The defense, yeah, they held them to 24 points. The defense, the team, I'm not going to say the defense, the team lost a game where the opposing quarterback completed 9 passes. Mm-hmm. 9, not double digits, not 10, not 11, 9, 50%. Deshaun Watson was 9 of 18 for 169 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, he is a good quarterback. I'll give him that, minus his NDAs, but there's that. But I will say that the defense did miss a couple crucial times where they should have tackled him, and they missed him completely. And it was an easy tackle that they should have had, but they let him go.
Yeah, Washington outgained in total yards 301 to 260, despite, again, the 9 completions from Deshaun Watson. Big part of that was Chubb. And this is kind of one of those things where I don't want to pat the defense on the back. I know Jonathan Allen's injury was kind of one of those things that kind of impacts this a little bit. But Chubb had 14 carries for 104 yards, just getting chunk after chunk after chunk. And this is the team. This is kind of what we want to be, right? Everybody knows Nick Chubb is a good running back. Everybody knows Nick Chubb's going to get the ball, and you still can't stop him. I want Washington to be that. That's what I want. I want them to know Brian Robinson's getting the rock, and you're just not going to be able to stop it. And he did. And Brian Robinson got it. This is Washington's game plan coming in was don't let this game come down to Carson Wentz. Let Brian Robinson run it. And he did 24 times, 87 yards. Not a great average, but 3.6 hit. That's a first down every time if you just run it out. It didn't really work out that way. Jonathan Williams got in the mix, 9 for 30 as well. Carson Wentz, 3 rushes, 7 yards with a touchdown there, that leap that he had. Washington's game plan was run the ball. They just weren't very good at it. And then they had Carson Wentz just stinking it up on the QB side of things. There's no other way to put it. 3 interceptions.
Yep.
And I tweeted this out. If Heineke throws that 1 interception that was on 3rd down, that was just like a long bomb, most people probably go, okay, that's just like an arm punt. Okay, it's 3rd down. You're going to punt it anyways. Try for the bomb. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you're going to punt the ball. You just did it down early. Carson Wentz hasn't earned that grace. He has not. He's 2-4 with this team now, 2-5, and he has not played well enough to be like, okay, that was an arm punt. It's fine. We were going to have to punt anyways. It was just a bad throw, and it was Carson Wentz again, so he's not going to get any benefit of the doubt. And that's just where,
especially for me,
the offense wasn't doing enough, except for that one drive where they did end up getting into the end zone, which was nice. Finally, a red zone touchdown, something we haven't seen in a while. But this is something that I think it was, let me see who put it out there. JP Finley had tweeted this out. The Commanders held a 10-0 lead at Giant Stadium in the second quarter of week 13. Since that moment, Washington has been outscored 101 points to 52. They haven't won since. And Washington's offense just isn't getting there. And that you can't have. You can't have it. You can't have it with a guy like Terry McLaurin, with Jahan Dotson, with Curtis Samuel. I get that the tight ends aren't exactly the best of the bunch. Brian Robinson's a good running back. You didn't have Gibson this time. No. Fine. I mean, I know he's an asset. He's my favorite running back out of the bunch, but you just can't make excuses. You just haven't been there all year long, and that's unfortunate.
On a positive note, Logan Thomas did catch the ball.
In case you didn't know this, I've called Logan Thomas decidedly mediocre several times, and I kind of retracted a little bit because he had a couple of good games. I don't think he's healthy this year. EP's been against Logan Thomas. She's like the anti-Steve from Command This Podcast. Steve loves himself some Logan Thomas. EP does not love herself some Logan Thomas.
No.
So
if we cut him, I'll be okay. I will not lose sleep.
That's probably going to happen. That is probably going to happen. Gus Bus here. Problem with that 21 play touchdown is that was what Heineke was giving you all year long. It wasn't a feature of Carson Wentz. I agree. They didn't go to a Carson Wentz game plan. They went to the tried and true. We're going to drag this out and we're going to run the football on first down, on second down, and on third down. And then we're going to try it again. If that doesn't work, okay, we might let him do a little dink and a little dunk. And then, we saw how well that worked. I agree. And Carson Wentz doesn't have a whole lot of traits worth, going after. He does have a big arm. I watched him flick his wrist and the ball went from the goal line to the 50-yard line when he was warming up. And I was like, okay, all right, let's see what we can do with that. We got De'Ami Brown, who's a burner. We got Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, who can get past the safety. And he just never opened it up. And because he never opened up the passing, you never got the running game going. Who is most to blame, EP, for this loss?
I think that's really hard. Obviously, I know I saw a poll on Twitter that everyone is blaming, obviously, the head coach, Ron Rivera. But I really think that for this game, I think it has to be Scott Turner. He sucked it up. He should have been prepared. He didn't. Some of the plays that he called were ridiculous. I know we talked on the way home. I couldn't even count how many times we were in shotgun. Not once did we run the dang ball. Not once. We were always in shotgun. And I mean, at some point, they're going to catch on. And they did very quickly. They caught on. And that's how Carson started screwing up from point one. So, I mean, to me, I think it does come down to Scott. Scott Turner was the issue. And
I think that's fair. I mean, again, you have a team. And this is a point that I've been making with, and I'll probably make a little bit later. This team hasn't been scoring 20 points. Defense gave up 24. No. Your offense just isn't good enough. It's just not good enough. It doesn't matter who's back there on the QB side of thing. And again, a little teaser for later. You're not scoring 20 points with this offense. You just can't do it. I don't know what it is. It doesn't. And it's Scott Turner is who it comes down to. I agree that Scott Turner deserves it, but I'm kind of more with Gregory on this one. Ron and Scott, it's a 1A, 1B. Ron, after the game, famously, asks, we could be eliminated today.
Yeah.
Whether or not he knew that, whether or not a lot of people are defending him because he's supposed to be focused on winning, and that's why he didn't know. But it's one of those things that you should kind of, even if you're not focused on what happens if you lose, you need to win to stay in the playoff position. You should be doing whatever it takes to win. And Ron's game plan continues to look like it's more about how can we not lose this game?
Yeah.
And we just lose the game. And Scott Turner's play calling, I brought it up. One of those here is the 4th and 1 pitch. This is from Tougher Guy. The pitch on 4th, let me know what was coming. Same old, same old.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we pitching to Jonathan Williams?
Yeah.
To Jonathan Williams, a guy who's been riding your practice squad for the last 2 years. You're going to pitch it to him on a 4th and 1?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing, Scott?
And we didn't even need that many yards either. That's what was sad.
It was 1 yard. Brian Robinson had sat out the previous play, EP. He was like 4th and 1, my bag. He starts running on the field and gets pulled back.
I remember that. Yeah.
Pulled back. Your best short yardage back.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want him out on the field. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
All right. So EP, you're going to blame Scott Turner for this kind of loss. I said Ron Rivera agreed with Gregory. Ron Rivera is 1A. Scott Turner can be 1B because I just think collectively not it for this game. Where did it go sideways for you? Washington, want to remind everybody, I know a lot of people are going to say one of those interceptions from Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz had Washington up 7-3 going into halftime.
Okay.
So where did it go sideways? Where did it go sideways is what I want to know for you. Where did it go sideways? Because I know a lot of the Hive, you included there, would like to tell me that it went sideways when Carson Wentz
entered the
starter.
field.
Yeah, when he started.
Agreed.
Carson Wentz again had this team up 7-3 at halftime. So where did it go sideways in this game for you?
Well, the interception didn't help. That was in the first quarter or first half.
First drive. He had an interception.
Oh yeah, that's right. First drive. So that obviously didn't help. But I feel like I don't know. To me, when we entered the second quarter, it seemed like the defense hit a slug. Like, I don't know if they were tired or if they partied too hard the night before. I don't know. They just seemed off. The defense did. And then, of course, going into the second half, Carson really screwed it up. I don't remember who it was, but someone had posted that they should have benched him. And I agree. To me, I mean, if you're going to do that to your running backs, they did that last year with Gibson. They did it this year with Gibson. If you're going to do that to Gibson when he screws up, why are you not going to do the same thing to a quarterback? You have Heineke there. You know he can produce. Why not throw him in? He had his uniform on. He was ready to go. He was warming up just the same as Carson was. But yet you kept Carson in the whole entire time, and he continued to screw up. So I think it was really the second half for me, or the second quarter, excuse me. I think that's when they started this. It just seemed like the game started going slower, and then they weren't really in it.
It definitely slowed things down there. That's so Carson Wentz had 2 interceptions he had interception downs. That was the 4th and 1, and then an interception. So you turn the ball over on your first 3 drives, but managed to only give up 3 points during all of this.
Right.
Now, part of that was the turnover on downs from the Browns, where they drove down and then they were going to kick the field goal, but Washington jumped off sides, gave them a fresh life. And they're like, fine, we're going to go for it. And the defense held. And Washington got the ball. Now, Carson Wentz gave it back on the arm punt, as I've been calling it. Defense, again, holds them, Cleveland, 3 plays for 2 yards. And then that's what started the 21 play, 96 yards, 11 minutes and 27-second drive that ended in a touchdown for Washington. So a lot of people are saying after the second interception, remember the touchdown came after that second interception. Defense continued to hold their own. I think I liked the one where whose comment was it? Let's see if I can't get back there. Yeah, we got a lot of people on that. When I box for fun when Kendall Fuller missed a tackle on Cooper, that is when the game that's to me when it went sideways. When he missed that tackle and Cooper ran, let me pull it up here. He ran for 46 yards for a touchdown. That's when this game got turned on its head. Washington is now losing. Washington's very next drive, they punted it away, and then it's another touchdown. 12 plays, 84 yards. That was when the defense was just gassed and just constantly just letting themselves get beat up. And then again, you have Deshaun Watson, great pass out there to Donovan Peoples-Jones. And now you're down 17-7. And this is not a team that's built to come back from 2 scores. And they proved it because, again, another interception by Carson Wentz. At this point, the Perrys were leaving. We're like, nope, we're done. We can't do it. This is the fourth quarter, and it's just too much. And it proved to be the right decision as punt, and end of the game. Washington just wasn't in there. But I agree with iBox for fun there. That Kendall Fuller missed tackle was it. That was where the game just completely decided. Washington decided we're not in this. We're not going to win this. This is not the game for us. P4 for P4 here. Can't believe what they allowed the Browns to come and beat us in our home field. I had a lot of Browns fans. There was a lot of Browns fans around us. One of them was my friend, and he was just enjoying himself. He was having a good old time, but he kept telling me, "Oh, Browns are going to Browns. Browns are going to Browns." After that Cooper touchdown, I took him up on his beer offer. I was like, "Okay, you said you're going to buy me a beer. Now's the time to buy me a beer," because it was just I knew this game was not going to go our way.
Can we touch on Gus's comment?
Yeah,
he said maybe Rivera doesn't pull Carson because he thinks he still has a shot to make the playoffs next week. I disagree with that. Every single game, we have to go in it. Like, we have to win every single game. And the minute that Carson started throwing interceptions, he should have been pulled. Whether you thought you still had a chance in the playoffs or not, we are here to win games. You can't have Jonathan Allen shout to the fans saying, we need your energy. Keep that same energy when you're cheering for us. Well, how do you expect us to keep that same energy if you're not winning freaking games and you're making stupid plays and you can't catch a ball, Logan Thomas, Cam Sims, then what do you expect us to do? So I disagree with that. I think that he should have been pulled. He should have been pulled.
I think if you're going to pull him, and this is by Ron's kind of own admission to saying that he would but go away from Heineke a few games ago, right?
Yeah.
Was in the second half. That first, after, you got the touchdown, that long drive for the touchdown. When you open up the second half with a 3-and-out that goes backwards and you punt away the ball, you can make the switch there. If you don't make the switch there, after Cleveland scores and your defense just gave that up, you come back out. If you don't make the switch after that, make the switch after this one. Another punt, 6 plays, 20 yards, and you're punting the ball. Cleveland then scores again. Now you need points. They did go down and get a field goal, but after giving up 2 touchdowns and starting the second half with 2 punts, you're right. You should make the switch. Absolutely.
The switch should have been made at halftime.
It's not going to be made at halftime because
it had to be.
You entered the halftime leading, and you just had your offense do this insane 21-play drive.
We didn't. We were only leading 7-3.
Oh,
that's not a great
game.
Score.
It was a brutal game.
The Browns. If this was Green Bay, if this was Tampa Bay, if this was Dallas, sure, we're playing the Browns. I mean, no, that's horrible.
Yeah, the Browns, who have nothing to play for. Bonafide picker, I vote EP to be a regular on the show. She's the voice of reason doing it. Absolutely. Al Catone is right. Smash that like button. Make sure you hit that like button for us. That helps us know that you support the channel, gets other people here, and honestly, we love that support. All right, so I'm just saying that Carson Wentz. We know he's not the answer. He's not the answer. And Taylor Heineke's not the answer either. We're not going to get into that right now because I want to talk a little bit more about the game because that's going to be the big item. I know ready for it. I'm
Man,
gonna tease a little bit longer. Let's
you.
move on. So, was there any bright side to this game? Was there anything that we walked away from going, okay, all right, this is fine?
No,
Not a thing.
no. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. Um, the only thing I enjoyed from the game was seeing the original or the past Hogettes. That was cool.
Yeah, the Hogettes were up there, just a couple sections away from EP and I.
Mhm.
Um,
That
yeah,
was
I
it.
mean, yeah, on the field there wasn't anything really to celebrate. Not even not a single play, not a
I
not a
disagree. Hold
dang
on,
thing.
wait. Can I go back? The best thing that happened was one of the fans threw Carson Wentz's jersey into the field. That was the best part.
Mm. Santiago here. Patterson was a bright spot. I thought that he did fine returning kicks. I didn't think he was anything special. There was one. Oh man,
Where he
we had a beautiful
over
view
his
of it.
own feet.
There was a whole opening, and if he just keeps on his feet,
I
he's
know.
gone. He
Yeah,
was gone. And so it was good seeing him out there. Yeah,
it was.
Gregory, there was nothing good. I
No.
mean, TJ too nasty for you, saying Chase Young only bright spot. I didn't
Mm,
feel like he was
disagree.
as impactful here, EP, as he was in the San Francisco
I
game.
agree.
And you kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. Where are you on Chase Young?
I feel like we are where we left off when before he was injured. He wasn't making any big plays. He wasn't making any sacks, taking down the quarterback, nothing. Not once did he get to the quarterback. And there was times where he should have. And to me, it was like he stopped. There was a play, I don't remember when it was, so please forgive me. But it was when Deshaun Watson had almost got tackled, and then he got back up miraculously and continued to run, and Chase just stopped. And I didn't understand why he stopped. And that to me irritated me because that's not the Chase Young that we all fell in love with and adored his rookie year. So I was kind of disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting him to do big things because this was his first home game since he's been
Yeah.
injured.
He was, I think he was the most vocal. I think that there's other defensive leaders on this team, the Jonathan Allens, the Cam Curls, even Jamin Davis is kind of coming into his own as a leader for this defense. Chase Young's the emotional leader. Like those are the leaders. The other ones I listed are kind of like the leaders of like, hey, get your act together. This is where you need to be. This is what we need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Young's that emotional leader. He is a cheerleader, right? We've seen that even
He
on the
is.
sidelines, and he was the one trying to get the crowd up there. And I liked seeing
He's a great
him.
captain.
I liked seeing him run around, but I definitely felt like he was more impactful. We got a couple of good answers there. Tuhill, Jonathan Williams. Jonathan Williams is certainly playing himself in the spot. I was kind of lamenting the fact that you do a pitch to Jonathan Williams. I mean, I'm not saying he's great. You go with Brian Robinson, you probably lose Gibson next year, but Jonathan Williams at least is a good backup to have in case B-Rob goes down
Right.
and you're looking for something to run. So I think
I know he's great to do on a fourth and
that
whatever
fourth
that
and
was.
one pitch, I lost my mind in the stands, like just absolutely just lost my dang on mine.
Mhm.
Deron Payne was having another great game. Payne, the man, absolutely.
He's working for a contract though.
He's playing his butt off for it too. And
Because it wasn't last year.
he's probably going elsewhere.
Mhm.
I don't think Chase is a bust here, Gregory.
No.
I'd trade Chase ASAP before other teams find out he's a bust. I think bust is going to be, he's not, I guess a bust in the sense he's not living
he's
up to
healthy.
his draft status.
Right.
Number 2 overall pick, a bust in that sense. But I think he's going to be a quality starter for years to play, whether or not it's with Washington or not. That'll be an interesting one.
Mhm.
I'm not going to read this comment for our audio listeners, but this one this is why I just audibly laughed. Gregory taking a shot at Deshaun Watson there. Yeah, not a whole lot of bright spots, but those were pretty good. I do agree with the Casey Toohill chasing down. I mean, where'd that come from? Casey Toohill,
Twice.
yeah, doing great job there. Tag and trade Payne. You can get 2 second rounders from him. Well, maybe we'll see how that plays out. That's all off season talk.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have plenty of time because we're going to have another long off season as Washington failed to make the playoffs because they lost to the Browns, Green Bay, and Detroit, both winning their games, meaning one of them will get to a higher win count than Washington. Even if they tie, Detroit holds the tiebreakers against Washington, both head-to-head conference record. Everything's looking up for Detroit if it's a tie. Green Bay needing that victory. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be your Sunday night game next week. Washington playing Dallas. Again, we'll be talking about that on Wednesday. There's still a lot to talk about as far as that game, even if it doesn't mean much for us. But we'll be talking about it on Wednesday. Let's move away from what happened on the football field real quick. Well, maybe the play on the football field to kind of the experience, EP.
Okay.
This was the fan appreciation game. This was the unveiling of the mascot, which was not well hidden. It was pretty well known what was going to happen. And then it was also the honoring of the Hogs.
Mm-hmm.
Which of these would you like to talk about first, and what did you think about it?
I say start with the fan appreciation because that's, the first thing that we did when we went to the game. Do you want me to go? Okay, so
yeah, you're supposed to expand on it. I asked you what,
I'm sorry.
And what did you think about it? You were like, okay, I picked fan appreciation.
Yeah,
now
so
what?
fan appreciation. So at the game in the what's that? Legion, whatever. What's the plaza?
Legends Plaza?
Legends, there we go. And Legends Plaza, they had 2 lines. One was for season ticket holders and one was for all fans. And they had a big, huge wheel that you could spin. For the season ticket holder, I guess there was more prizes that you could win, or bigger prizes, I would say, because you could get the
2 field passes. I think there was 2 spots for signed items, and the Sonny Jurgensen apparel was one of the big items.
The jersey,
and then the jacket, the Letterman jacket.
Yeah,
oh man, I wanted that jacket so bad.
And then on the other side was similar, but they didn't have those big items for the all fans. That was really cool. I will say I was really sad that we didn't get the pregame or the field passes. That would have been neat. I was very disappointed. So hold on, let me back up. So Nathan got the DC proper.
Yeah, DC proper bag. I'll show it off.
Which was amazing. It's very nice.
It's got like leather bottom. It's lined inside to, I mean, this is a deluxe bag here from DC
Very
proper. Nice. It's got the seal on one side, whether or not you like the seal or not. I do. It even has the right dates for it if you're concerned about that. I liked it. I'm glad I didn't end up with a pin or a poster. So that one was pretty good.
Flags. And then I won a beanie, a Commander's beanie, which was very nice. And then Nathan was able to get me 2 car flags, which we thought it would be like the ones that you see at Dick's Sporting Goods. They were garbage.
They were pretty cheap. Yeah, they were pretty cheap. Not only were they cheap, EP. I let me see if I can't bring up the picture. I shared it within our chat here. I kid you not. I kid you not, folks. And for our audio listeners, I'll talk through this. This is the flag that she got, the 2 car flags. And we're being picky here because we got these for free. This isn't
right.
And
it was nice that they gave them to us.
Yeah, they are kind of on the cheap end. The thing that I found most hilarious to these car flags, though, were we unfurled them and they're upside down.
Yeah, the W.
The W is flying upside down, which, in case you didn't know, if you're in flag code or anything like that, if the flag's upside down, it's in distress. And I really wish we would have unfurled these flags prior to the game, because then we would have known, okay, this is Washington sending the help me for it, because I couldn't. Both flags were upside down.
which
I
is sad.
you just can't make it up. You can't make it up. But it is what it is. It was a nice thing for them to do for the fans, and there was a lot of excited people. The field passes, they ran out of them, and we actually watched the last two be given away out of a
And
courtesy
she didn't
thing.
win them. She
It
did
was a
not win them.
courtesy. Yeah,
That's
it was
what
a
upset
courtesy
me.
thing. It was a courtesy thing, just like the car flags were ours. So I should have pushed harder to get the thing. That's on me.
I know.
It was a courtesy thing that they gave away the last two field passes. But then anyone who won after those, they were having them write down their information because they're giving field passes to the Cowboys game.
Which was cool.
So that's
that was
really
nice. I think that the wheel spinning, that was really cool. I was disappointed in the pictures that you could take. They shut that down really early.
Yeah, Fred Smoot was out there. I didn't catch the second person who was out there, but it was nice. The Hogs were out there, so a lot of people were interacting with them. Let's move on to the Hogs aspect. The Hogs were brought out before the show, at Legends Plaza. People were able to interact with them. Same with the Hogettes. During the game, the Hogs, or prior to the game, the Hogs were brought out, and then at halftime they were brought out again. The Hogettes had a little bit of a camera time. They were up in the club level, and they were shown very little. It was hey, here's the Hogettes. They raised like 200 million for charity, and then they moved on from that, and then kind of got there. What did you feel? Because you got to remember, coming into this game, some of the Hogs were not coming out, and they're suing Washington and Dan Snyder for just kind of using them for money.
Yeah.
What did you think of what they did do for the Hogs?
They didn't do anything. I mean, they played a video, which was maybe 2 minutes long. The video was nice, but it was, I would say 80% of it was people that were part of the Hogs. So it was kind of weird that they did that video, but it was nice for the fans who may or may not have known who they were or who they are. So that was, the video was nice at the end. But I will say I constantly have an irritation that they always show whoever they're doing or presenting whatever to the quote unquote home side. Although there are Commander fans on the other side too. I wish that they would do both sides.
Find a way to incorporate more. Yeah. I understand why they're doing it to the one side. Partly because you saw how much Brown was on our side of the field.
That's true.
The video, the great job by the video team for Washington. Great job by the social media team. I'm not going to drag the work you guys are doing. You're doing a fantastic job with that. The presentations though, like the on the field stuff, definitely kind of felt a little lackluster. And this is kind of where the Hogs who were abstaining from the event were what they're talking about. Like you're just trotting us out here or whatever you do with Hogs if you don't trot them.
And Dan wasn't out there. Tanya wasn't out there. Jason Wright wasn't out there.
It was just kind of and I honestly, I think that's a smart move by the team not to have them, because then you're going to get boos.
But at least have Jason.
He's not well loved right now. A lot of people are upset with the Sean Taylor memories, memorials, whatever you want to call them. Porter Johns next to the TV sign, this team.
But you still should have had someone representing the organization there, because like Michael said, stop.
Michael here. Stop honoring things and people. It just keeps going sideways. Tommy T, that's going to be a topic for Wednesday. Tommy T, they are in England. They flew from England back on Sunday briefly for a period of time, and then flew back to England same day. And they filed something saying that their main place is in England. And it is what it is. That'll be a Wednesday topic. The Hog thing, I think that they could have done better. I think that adding to that, whatever your thoughts about Major Tuddy, which will be our next topic here, whatever they may be about that, I will say that announcing Major Tuddy at the same time you're honoring the Hogs
was weird.
Felt contrived and slightly disrespectful to the men that are on the field and who won Super Bowls with this team. Just ever so
Agreed.
slightly.
That's a good point. I agree. Yep.
Yeah.
And then the Hogettes, the 5 seconds that they showed the Hogettes, I think that was also horrible.
You only have so much time between, you know, the downs and stuff and to show things.
But they could have done that pregame. Instead of showing the Hogs twice, they could have done that, pregame.
I mean, the Hogs deserve
Or put the Hogettes
more.
at the halftime and put the Hogs at the pregame. I don't know.
The Hogs, I feel, deserve a little bit more love than the Hogettes. Now, the Hogettes are great. They're legendary. They're Hall of Famers in their own right, and they deserve to be praised. And it's one of the first times they've been out in a long time as well.
Right.
This whole thing kind of led up to, and this is a lot of people had problems, EP, with the way the franchise handled the name change. They felt like the whole bringing the fans along was just a ploy, and they already had their idea.
They did.
This kind of felt like the same thing to me. I'm not going to put the tinfoil hat on, but if somebody did put their tinfoil hat on and say Washington predetermined that it was going to be the Hogs months ago and decided to put all this together, I don't think I could really argue against it.
You can't. You knew. I mean, I think Stoner was the one who was always constantly saying it's going to be the Hogs. It's going to be the Hogs. I agree with that. The minute that that you saw the fans were upset about the Red Hogs, I think it was, right? Not being selected as the team name, or it was one of the ones that got
Red Wolves, yeah.
No, what was the Hogs one though? It was the Red Hogs, wasn't it, or something? Or was it just Hogs? I don't know. Either way, the Hogs.
You know how much I loved that name change business.
I know, but either way, yeah, I think it was predetermined.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was. And, a lot of this stuff, and Yam bring this up here, the name branding was ready months in advance. You have to, right? You have to have this stuff in advance. You have to get like the copyrights and everything. And this is, I don't think that the mascot thing was any different. I think that they needed this done well in advance. And the one thing that kind of made me laugh with all this is I saw overwhelmingly on social media when they were doing these polls that Hogs was people's choice.
Yeah.
Wasn't mine. I didn't want any kind of tie back, any other ties to the previous. The burgundy and gold's all that we need, really, in my opinion, if we're going to tie back to the franchise.
Right.
I didn't want that. But most people seem to want that. And then all of a sudden it's, it kind of leaks the day before that it's going to be Commander Tutty is what people were saying. Everybody knew the name was going to be Tutty. Most people assumed the rank was going to be a commander. And all of a sudden the hate started coming out for a pig mascot. Yeah. It's not even for us. It's not even for you or me. It's for the kids. And honestly, the mascot's not any worse. Tutty's no worse than any other mascot. You have a grown person running around in an animal costume. It's no worse than any other ones. It's no worse than the Colts. It's no worse than the Gritty up in Philadelphia.
Right.
So I don't understand the hate for it. Do I like it? No, but am I the target audience? Also, no. No. I will say that I'm slightly disappointed.
It is for the
kids. A fat pig.
I don't mind that it's a pig. The thing I didn't like was the helmet. I thought that was dumb that he's wearing a helmet. And the costume, it just looked weird. It didn't look.
The beer gut is what pulls me away. The face is fine. The helmet's fine. I don't like, as a military person, I don't like the deification of the military. So like tying everything to the military is really not a good thing for me. Calling him Major Tutty, like it's okay. Like again, why isn't he a commander if he's going to be a commander? But the beer gut, like that's just like the beer gut, just make him a fit hog. Because the hog, and this is something they talked about on the video, that they played. These hogs weren't bulky fat men. They were beefy boys. These guys were maulers, and so it's just like make them that. And that's still something that you can see change, and we'll see if he gets incorporated. It'll be interesting. Bonafide, I'm telling you, Mando the Black Lab would have a hit with kids and adults. Yeah, the dogs, people love dogs. Mando, you got to remember, is just kind of a loner dog. He is there to train, and he's just kind of the commanders bringing him out to kind of show him that. So, yeah, Doug, I agree with this. The hate is misplaced frustration. You see a lot of that after the loss, right? People are lashing out. And poor social media team. They're just getting beat up. Just absolutely beat up.
I wish though that when they did the reveal, since they kind of leaked it, or however you want to call it, before the week before the game, I wish that they would have done something with him, like some type of performance or some type of dance or something more than him just walking out onto the field, going to the 50-yard line and getting in the football defensive stance. I thought that was dumb. And then he goes off and that was it. There was nothing more to it.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed.
I don't think we saw him at all the second half. I mean, Washington only had one field goal in the second half, so it's not exactly a lot to cheer for. Let's move on from the mascot touch, the talk, the hogs, and all that kind of stuff. I do want one real quick thing here. I see that there is a lot of name talk still kind of in the chat there. The name should have been the Legends. I agree with Stoner on that one. I think that one, it sounds good. It's 2 syllables and you can do a whole lot with it the same way you can do with commanders and command this and all that kind of stuff. The Legends would have been good. And if your mascot's going to be a hog, you're going to be like people, we'll talk about how Washington's not legends at anything. Your mascot's now a hog and people are going to be roasting bacon and all sorts of things. And I mean, my friend from on the Brown side, he was just like, I came to the game expecting football and you guys brought the Christmas ham. You got a good chuckle out of us. You got a good chuckle from the Browns fans behind us. And so wish the game could have been better. Washington did end up losing 24-10. And a lot of people, including my wife here, believe that this game would have been different if Taylor Heinicke would have been given the start.
Yes.
That's the topic right now. Let us know in the comment section where you stand on this. Would this game have been any different?
Yes.
If Taylor Heinicke got the start? And any different is a little bit of broad stroke there. Would Washington have won if Taylor Heinicke was the starting quarterback? Let's hear it from the Hive. We got EP. What you got going on here? You're part of the Hive.
I am. Well, I am this year just because out of the two, I'd rather choose the lesser evil with Heinicke. I mean, it just makes so much sense. I think the thing that it frustrates me that Ron stated that it was going to be down to if Taylor continued to win, if Taylor continued to play well, he was going to keep Taylor in. Yes, we lost the San Francisco game, but I do not blame that all completely on him. We played absolute garbage. It wasn't all Taylor. In fact, Taylor only had 1 interception for the San Francisco game.
And a fumble.
And 1 fumble. Okay. I get that. But why would you pull him? You have a tie under his belt. He had a win with Atlanta and Houston. Why at that point are you going to say, oh, we lost 1 game. Let's go back to Carson, who can't even make it out of the pocket in time. Let's pull him in and let's try him. I think that was a horrible, horrible move. So much so, and you can't sit there and say, oh, we listen to our fans. We listen to our fans. If you listen to your fans, the very first time he had an interception, you heard it on national TV. People in the crowds were completely cheering to put Taylor in. And I agree with that. There was no reason you should have kept Carson in. There's no reason Carson should have started, period. No reason at all. Taylor makes it out of the pocket. He actually runs the dang ball. Carson is like a stiff little toy soldier, if you want to go to the military aspect of it. He doesn't move from the pocket. It drives me freaking nuts. He does not need to play. He should not have played it at all. That's all I'm going to say. Please open the floor.
Okay.
Or
This is
continue.
where people might see a live divorce, or at least me getting kicked to the couch for the night. Because I agree with some of these in here. Like Michael, no, Heineke has never scored enough points to have won that game. Gregory, no, instead of 2 picks, it would have been 2 fumbles. Gus Bus asking the real question: how many times has Heineke scored more than 24 points? It's not been
How many
a lot.
times has Carson Wentz scored 24 points or more? And
he
with
opened
the
up
Commanders,
the season. He did open the season with the 2 games over, but you're right. Carson Wentz has a lower per game score average than Taylor Heineke.
he does.
I will again tell people I am not on Carson Wentz's side here. Okay, this isn't Carson Wentz or Heineke. I'm simply stating Heineke would not have won this game. And a lot of that goes on Scott Turner. Washington they did what they wanted to do. They ran the ball 24 times with Brian Robinson. How is that going to be any different?
Even the Browns coach was shocked that they didn't start Taylor Heineke. Yeah, they said that they prepared for both of them and they knew exactly what Wentz would do. They said that they did not know exactly how Taylor would have played because Taylor can play several different ways. That is honestly what is great about Taylor Heineke with our offense that we have, offensive line, excuse me, that is garbage. And we should have drafted more people, but that's besides the point. However, Carson Wentz is the same person. He sticks in the pocket way too long. He doesn't throw the gosh darn ball. And he's had way too many interceptions and way too many fumbles this year. Way too many. And Meta, I'm sorry, Heineke would not have lost.
He really... Heineke, a lot of people are pointing the fact that Heineke has a winning record right now, and they're right. He right now, and for also obligatory QB wins aren't a thing. Just FYI. But if people want to point to them, I'm going to talk about them. Heineke's 5-3-1 this year as a starter for Washington. Cool, great stat here. The thing though is in the games that matter. The down the stretch games where it's playoff atmosphere, it's you got to win to stay in the hot seat. He is 0-2-1.
No. Wait, time out. This is where our divorce is going to happen. You can't sit there and say, in the games that mattered, every single game that we played this season mattered. Every single game that we played, we should have won. And I get it. That's what every team says. We have so many amazing offensive players, minus our O-line. There's no reason we shouldn't win games. Absolutely no reason we shouldn't. Carson can't do that for us. And he proved that. Absolutely proved that. He should have been pulled, and he shouldn't have even started. Shouldn't have started. Yeah, we were already comfortable with Taylor Heineke. The offensive line is comfortable with Taylor Heineke, and you can see that in the games that they're comfortable with Taylor Heineke. And the Browns defense would not have been able to keep up with Taylor because he actually runs outside of the freaking pocket. Don't do that.
This is where you lose me. Okay. Again, I'm not advocating for Carson Wentz. Okay. I'm not doing that. You're not going to get me again.
You're sitting there saying that Carson was the best fit for Sunday.
I did not say that. I did not say that. All I'm saying is Taylor Heineke would not have won this game. Carson Wentz was trash.
No. And Nathan, answer me this.
Hold on.
Before the game,
Carson Wentz is trash.
No.
And if anything, someone mentioned it earlier, the silver lining to all of this is that we don't have to deal with Carson Wentz after the season because he's proven he's not the answer.
Oh, no,
I said the best part of the Carson Wentz trade was that they didn't restructure his contract. That means next year, they can cut him, which is now this year. Before the next season, they can cut him, and he's not on the books. And you get all that money back. That was the best part. The best part of the deal is the fact that you can cut the guy and not get money. That's how much faith I had in Carson Wentz. Now, this isn't a Carson Wentz discussion, though. This is a Taylor Heineke discussion.
Okay, yeah. So listen
This is a Taylor Heineke discussion, and whether or not he would have won. Washington's game plan was run the ball. They ran the ball and they suck it up. They didn't run the ball.
They didn't run the ball because they couldn't make it out of the freaking
24
pocket.
times just with Brian Robinson alone.
Exactly.
They ran 37 times.
Because you know why? Because they cannot trust Carson Wentz to throw the ball down the field. They can trust Taylor because he's done it multiple times. multiple times.
Please point to the downfield plays with Taylor Heineke. Go ahead, show me the Jahan Dotson 60-yarder, and then I'll wait. And then I'm going to wait. Taylor Heineke is limited. Okay. And that's not the point
Terry
to this.
McLaurin, how many yards does he have under Carson Wentz? How many does he have under Taylor Heineke? He
averages 2 more catches.
On Taylor Heineke.
He averages 2 more catches.
Actually knows
and
who to throw
20
the
more
ball
yards
to.
with Taylor Heineke. You're right. There's Taylor Heineke focuses on Terry McLaurin, which is great. You want your number wide receiver to be involved. That wasn't really the case here, as Terry McLaurin was targeted 5 times. Some of those targets were absolutely bogus. He only caught 2 of them for 25 yards. Before entering this game, I don't know what it is now as far as averages, but you're right. Taylor Heineke focuses on Terry McLaurin. He gets 2 more catches. It's like 5 catches for 70 yards compared to 3 catches for 50 yards, I think is what it comes down to. It's very similar to that. Or maybe it's 5 and 50 and then 7 and 70. Whatever the case was, it was 2 more catches a game and 20 more yards with Taylor Heineke. Great. You're focusing a little bit more on Terry McLaurin, letting him win there. The thing is what I'm trying to tell people, and this is, I get that this upsets the hive because I'm kind of putting Taylor Heineke in there. Tom Brady with this offense, the way the offensive line,
put him in there.
A lot of people consider him the greatest of all time. Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. This offensive line hasn't been playing good enough.
Okay, but you can't.
Scott Turner's game plan is not good enough, and that's the point.
But the person who would have won that game would have been Taylor Heineke. Let me ask you this question, Nathan. If you would have known, or not even known, if you would not have even known who was going to start in QB for Sunday's game, let's say you had Heineke, would you have the same feeling? Oh, we're going to win the game.
If Taylor Heineke was in it, yeah, I said we were going to win with Carson Wentz. I thought this was a defense, a Cleveland Browns defense that was being gashed on the ground.
We did
run.
Carson is the same
for
player.
136
He doesn't change. He doesn't change.
With either one of them, please listen. QB1 is not on this roster. It's not.
I'm not saying
it's not.
I'm not saying that it is. But if you have a game that you absolutely have to win, whether Ron knew it or not, then you should have played Taylor Heineke. There's no reason why he was not in that game. No reason he was cut. It was benched. No reason at all.
No
Taylor
reason.
Heineke has 5
that interception,
wins.
That fumble wasn't a reason. He does have 5 wins. You realize
Carson Wentz had 3 interceptions, Nathan.
Yes,
3 interceptions in one game.
I'm not defending Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is awful. Carson Wentz is a bad QB. I do not want Carson Wentz here. I didn't want Carson Wentz here from day one. When we were going through our QB talks and they brought up Carson Wentz, you had Trev and Stoner going, yeah, Carson Wentz. And I'm going, no.
You can't sit there and
ask me
him. How could Taylor Heineke have? Why do you think Taylor Heineke would have played and won that game? You know, Taylor Heineke would have played and he could have won that game.
No,
but we don't know because
Sean,
we kept Carson
Sean
Wentz,
here says, man, don't talk about Turner and the line excuse when you all didn't use that excuse with Taylor. I'm not making excuses for Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz played like dog doo-doo. Okay. Absolute trash is what Carson Wentz
The reason why.
Okay. Hold on, EP. Hold on. What I'm not making excuses for Carson Wentz. What I'm saying is, as much as you all love Taylor Heineke, that line and that play calling from Scott Turner is not going to win games. Period.
It's not. I agree with you. It's not.
That's what I'm trying to tell people is Taylor Heineke wasn't going to win that game. You can be mad at Carson Wentz all you want. You can trash. You can don't call Carson Wentz names really, but you can call his play bad. But Taylor Heineke's not winning that game. There and that's not an excuse for Carson Wentz. That is simply telling us what we already know. They didn't beat the Giants. They didn't beat San Francisco. The teams that they did beat, okay, great.
But you can't blame Taylor for those.
Gus Bus asked a question earlier. How many times has Taylor Heineke scored more than 24 points? Do you know the answer to that in your 5-3-1 record? How many times he scored more than 24 points? No, don't look at the notes.
Shut up.
You did your research. How many times has Taylor Heineke this year, because he has a 5-3-1 record with Washington this season, he's a winning quarterback.
32-21.
One time, EP, he scored more than 24 points. One time. And that's what I'm saying.
Green Bay was 23.
Taylor Heineke's not winning this
Green
game.
Bay was 23.
This offense is not scoring points.
I'm not saying it
can come after me all they want.
But listen, the thing that Taylor Heineke does well and makes the O-line look sufficient is that he gets the ball out quickly. Carson Wentz does not do that. When Carson Wentz is in, he makes the O-line show their true colors because they cannot block, for the love of goodness. I could go in and I could block better than they could.
Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration.
Just saying.
Yeah, 2023 still not good enough. Gus Bus, absolutely. I do take from Alabama King. She does know what she's talking about. This is one of the reasons why she's on is not just because she's my lovely wife, but because she represents the Hive. I've been battling with people. I'm
not their leader.
Yeah, you are their current spokesperson for Ref the District, though.
God.
I've been dealing with this Alabama King online over the last 2 days with the Heineke Hive. They believe that Taylor Heineke would have won this game, and I'm trying to tell them it wasn't going to happen. It doesn't matter who's back there. This team is just not good enough. They lost to the Browns 24-10. Deshaun Watson completed 9 passes, EP, 9 passes, and we lost this game. Blame Fuller, blame Scott Turner, blame whoever you want, blame Carson Wentz and his 3 interceptions. I don't care who you want to blame. Just understand this is a bad team right now that's on a 4-game skid, because I do include that tie now as part of the skid. They're on a 4-game skid. 3 of those games are with Taylor Heineke. I've talked about this, EP, on the channel as far as the benching of Taylor Heineke and going to Wentz. I feel like the timing was awkward. Okay, Taylor was having bad games well before the Giants, but they were winning games. And so it was just like, well, I don't want to change it up because he's winning games. He's not winning games. The team's winning games. And all of a sudden.
But I think my husband's the very first person to say, oh, QBs don't win games.
They don't.
QBs don't win games. Okay, well, it's everybody. And Taylor Heineke should have stayed in that freaking game. There's no reason why he was benched.
There was definitely reasons why he was benched against San Francisco. He had an interception and a fumble. That's
one interception, Nathan. One interception.
You got to come from a point, EP. You got to come from a point from where Ron Rivera is. Ron Rivera he knows he's on the hot seat regardless, even though he's probably not going to lose his job this offseason because of the ownership change coming on the horizon. So his seat's probably safer than we'd like it to be. But he brought in Carson Wentz, and he wants Carson Wentz to succeed here, because if Carson Wentz does succeed, that means he's successful. This is the coach and front office that saw Taylor Heineke play all of last year. Okay. Taylor Heineke got all but the COVID games and like a quarter and a half of Ryan Fitzpatrick. And we saw Taylor Heineke, and this coaching staff has front row seats to that Taylor Heineke experience. And they're like, you know what we need? We need an immobile, big arm quarterback who's going to be on his 3rd team in 3 years. That's what we need. That's what the decision-making is going into this. So do I trust Ron and company to continue making these decisions? No, absolutely not. Their decision-making is why Carson Wentz is here. Their decision-making is why they benched Heineke after he was actually slinging the ball against San Francisco. But then again, he had 2 turnovers. That's your reasoning. They were just itching for a reason to get rid of Taylor Heineke and go back to Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is not a good quarterback, though. You're going back to you're going sideways at best from Taylor Heineke.
Can I say the one thing
that
irritated me, that was like icing on the cake for me, cherry on the top, was during the press conference after the game when they asked him about what he thought about the fans, calling for Taylor Heineke. And he said, oh, it's part of the game.
Yeah, Carson Wentz here.
I'm sorry, you were the quarterback and you had 3 interceptions. Your first response should have been, I don't blame them. I sucked it up. But no, it's part of the game.
My favorite
He's an
part of the
idiot.
Carson Wentz whole conference afterwards was they asked him about what was going through your mind during the interception. His response was, which one?
Yeah.
That's the kind of game he was having. No QB was winning with this. Lots of wholesale changes need to happen here in Washington going forward, because it's just, you can't, over 2 year span, you cannot average less than 20 points a game and
No.
expect to win. Your defense has to play lights out every single time.
Yeah.
And you just
And you
can't
have to
expect
play
that. You
every
can't
single
expect them.
game like you have to win. Not playing Carson Wentz. End of story.
Yeah, Michael, there's a rumor there are these things called playoffs, but I've never seen them. It must be a fairy tale. Yeah, we were in the
Neither has
playoffs a
Ron.
couple of years ago. That's actually where the Heineke love started, right? He nearly beat Tampa Bay, is how people remember that game. He's an exciting player. He's a lovable player. I think that he should be in the NFL for a long time. This guy will probably have a Ryan Fitzpatrick like career, where we're seeing him in 10 years losing games and breaking his hip for somebody else.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just bringing up Ryan Fitzpatrick because
He's going to be the Kirk Cousins. That's okay.
Okay, he's Mike White and Gardner.
You can sit there and say that because everyone's like,
Like,
"Oh, Kirk Cousins is awful," and then look at him now, and we're laughing in our own feet.
We got our first donation of the night. The Hawk TV. Howl for howl time, Nathan. Are you ready to howl? I mean, it doesn't make a difference who we start. One game with Howl probably isn't enough to tell us what we need to see. And I mean, unless he throws for 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and like 400 yards against the Dallas defense, that's probably going to absolutely decimate this offensive line. Even then, is that fool's gold? We've seen those kind of games from backup quarterbacks before. Dallas hasn't had time to really look at what it is. So you probably put in Hal, but he's not QB1. You're not going to really know what you have with him until next season. So it's fine. Yeah, Yam, you can be wrong about Wentz and still be right about Heineke.
Thank you, Yam.
Yep.
I'm always right about Heineke.
No, it's and Doug here saying Taylor Heineke's turnovers happen at bad times. Biggest case in point, the Vikings game. Yeah, we had that Vikings game. If Taylor Heineke, and this is my thing when it comes to the Heineke hive here, because a lot of people, again, thinking that he would win this game. Heineke was 0-2-1 in the games that mattered. Okay, he won. I'm not saying the 5 games that he won were not important. They got us back in playoff position. We've seen this with Ron-led teams before. They make these runs mid-season to get back into the playoff hunt and give us hope. And then down the stretch, they give it away. It's New Year, same team.
Nathan.
Yes, EP.
Did the Titan game not matter? Did the Cowboys game not matter? Did the first Philly game not matter?
Again,
did the Lions
Carson Wentz,
game not matter?
bad quarterback. I'm on record saying that. I'm not defending Carson Wentz. You're not going to get me to defend Carson Wentz. I'm not even defending the decision to go to Carson Wentz. Okay? All I'm saying is if you're thinking about Ron's mindset, they traded for this QB. They watched Taylor Heineke play all last season. They're watching him win games this season.
I'm sorry.
The whole time, they're just looking for an
with that.
excuse.
If you are on the hot seat saying, hey, I might lose my dang career after this, I might get fired, then I'm going to play Taylor Heineke because he at least has a better chance than Wentz does.
Coaches didn't think that. They started Wentz. They were wrong. Taylor Heineke wasn't going to win the game anyways because they're just not a good team right now. Metaphor with a donation. Oink for Wentz. 3 interceptions equals 3 points. Taylor, 2 equals 10 per game. Yeah, that's fair. That's defense was playing really well up there till the Jonathan Allen injury and the Kendall Fuller missed tackle.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz had 2 interceptions, and the first half led to just 3 points. That's all they got off of those. That third interception, Cleveland punted the ball afterwards after that as well. Good job on the defense. Not good job by Carson Wentz. Taylor, what metaphor is going though is Taylor's, and this kind of goes with, I believe, Doug's comment earlier, just happened at the worst times. They're happening in our side of the field where points are being given up. And maybe the defense just didn't play well enough for Taylor, even though they're inspired by the guy and they're going to get their own Nike shoes from him. It doesn't matter. The team's just not good. The team lost 24-10, and it wasn't going to matter.
Good. The team is good. We have just a crappy O-line and crappy coaches. End of story.
This team has a losing record right now. I'm very hard pressed to consider this a good team. Let us know in the comment section. Do you think this is a good team?
What?
Are you enjoying?
We are a good team.
Between the Perrys right now here on Ref the District. Make sure you hit that like button for me. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel as well. Yeah, all you Wentz guys attacking Taylor can't defend how trash Wentz is. No, there's no defending Carson Wentz play. It's been bad, except for week 1 and parts of week 2. Carson Wentz has not been good. Taylor Heinicke, though, also not been great. If you look at his play, he has thrown for more than 250 yards twice in this span this year. He's thrown for multiple touchdowns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So that's fairly good there. But he has had multiple interceptions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 interceptions, it seems. And he also has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fumbles lost. So a total of 11 turnovers to 12 touchdowns, and less than 200 yards a game passing. So again, this isn't a Carson Wentz fan club. It's also, I'm not a part of the Hive. You're not going to convince me that Taylor Heinicke needs to be QB1 next year. If he is, honestly, the only reason why I'm okay with it is because that 2024 class of QBs looks absolutely legit. Mm-hmm. And if Taylor Heinicke's our bridge quarterback next year, and we've got another 1-16 season coming to us, it's going to be a long one to endure. But hopefully then they get the QB that matters in 2024. But that's neither here nor there. That is future talk. Let's get back to the game because we did not get to this part. And that's the go-goes and no-goes. We kind of touched a little bit about on this EP, but we didn't have a lot of praise to give around. So who do you have as a go-go, though? Crickets. I'm hearing crickets.
I know. My go-go would be, you go first.
So my go-go is going to be Casey Toohill. So I think that he did a more than a serviceable job, and enjoyed seeing him get out there. I think that there's still some good ones there. You obviously have the Paynes are a good one. Yeah,
I'd say Robinson.
You're going to go with B-Rob?
Yeah, that's my
B-Rob. Smitty Jr. agrees with you. B-Rob had himself a pretty decent day. Yeah, those are fine. There's go-goes are very limited when you score 10 points and you lose a game. Metaphor, go-go is tutty. Yeah. Will Diggs, EP, is in the house filling in for both Stoner and Trev, who were out and about. She is a certified member of the Heinicke Hive, and was debating me largely.
Vice President? No, I'm kidding.
On why Heinicke would have won this game, even though he wouldn't have. So thanks for joining us, Will. Let us know who is your go-go as we transition over to the no-goes. EP laundry list of no-goes here. I'm going to take one away from you. Don't name Scott Turner.
Okay.
Or Carson Wentz. Okay. Those are gimmies.
Okay.
Okay. So who is your no-go?
My no-go would obviously the O-line. They're trash. I hope that we do draft some offensive linemen this year, unlike last year where we didn't. Also, I think my no-go, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, is JFP. You're really hard on. I think your expectations for him were too high. I think it's really hard to be a no-go when the guy, like, all he's doing is returning kicks. He had three returns for 70 yards, averaged 23.3. So not quite getting to where that you need, which is that 25-yard line. But
serviceable.
Yeah. Wins was also trash.
Yeah.
Always is trash.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see him leave. I'll help him pack and his family too, if he needs me to. As a military spouse, I'm really good at packing.
Yeah.
Also, another no-go would be, I would put Chase as a no-go.
Really? Yeah.
Didn't
A lot of
impress me.
people thought he did pretty good. My expectations for Chase right now are pretty low.
Timeout. Cam Sims. Can't catch the damn ball. The dang ball, sorry.
It's all right. I promised people that they might actually hear me swear. We haven't gotten there. Cam Sims, I don't know why you're dogging this man. He has one catch for 16 yards on one target. Like, he caught the one ball thrown his way.
No, he didn't.
Is it Cam Sims you're thinking about, or is it Curtis Samuel?
Number one is Cam Sims.
Oh, Jahan Dotson.
No,
7
not
targets. Jahan Dotson's number one. Seven targets,
Jahan
3
Dotson.
catches.
Just
He
kidding.
did uncharacteristically
Thank you,
dropped
folks.
a
This is
couple of
my
balls.
one and only time to be on the show because I don't know our team's numbers.
Yeah, don't worry. Stoner can't pick out our players either. Metaphor listed him number one there. Our Armand Brown, Dax Milne has to go. Yeah, another. He's just not electrifying enough there, returning punts. That's true. Let's see here. What did he have? He had one punt return for 15 yards. Actually, that's not too bad. Actually, that's actually pretty decent. But you're right. He's just not exciting enough.
No.
The no-goes for the missed tackles. Yeah. Kendall Fuller, man. That's actually a big one. My no-go was going to be the offensive line because they just didn't play well. They gave up 3 sacks to, and these guys that they're giving up sacks to, that was Chase Winovich's first sack of the year. And Taven Bryan now has 3 sacks on the year because he got a half sack, largely because of Myles Garrett just being Myles Garrett and getting a sack and a half. They also gave up 6 tackles for a loss and 6 QB hits and 5 passes defended there for the defense. So just all over this offensive line, not a great outing for them. But that missed tackle, that's a good one. Kendall Fuller. There you go. That's my no-go. Kendall Fuller.
That is a good one.
Both touchdowns I felt like were on him. One, the missed tackle. James King is going to help Heineke pack. Yeah, we'll lots of blame to go around here.
No.
My no-go is the end zone we never saw. Michael.
Amen.
Yeah, that one was
Joey Slye could be a go-go because he actually made
the field goals. He did his job.
His job.
Andre, Cam Sims, good wide receiver.
I know,
Cam Sims, number 5 on the depth chart.
Why?
And I think he belongs there.
Yeah,
and he's just one of those guys that you're like, cool. I like this guy on my roster, but not necessarily a big time threat though. Yeah, Armand, red zone offense, past 6 games, no go. Only saw the red zone, I believe, once. I'm going to bring up that stat real quick just to confirm.
Yes.
Red zones made an attempt. Yep, Washington. Hey, look at that, 100%. Where's my clapping button? I got a clapping applause button? Yeah, I do. Congratulations, Washington Commanders. 1 for 1 in the red zone. Turning things around there slowly but surely. It probably improves your red zone stats when you only make it one time. Taylor Heineke obviously didn't make it there enough. And so there we go. I see a call for Stoner in there. Oh, look at that. Stoner is checking in from Vegas. We appreciate my man coming in. I believe we'll have him back later. Stoner is my no-go for passing up. Yeah, this one. Let's real quick before we call this one a night here. Stoner passed up going to the Raiders 49ers game, which was an amazing game.
Yeah.
Because he's in Vegas. He gave that up to watch that in person because he wanted to watch the Commanders on TV.
That was stupid.
I heard Ron Rivera called up Stoner and is looking to make him as part of his staff based on his decision making. That kind of decision making, Stoner, is what gets you paid by the Washington Commanders. Just absolutely dumb decision making there.
I just hope that Stoner didn't bet his 401k on the Commanders.
Oh goodness gracious, that was a double dagger for me. By the way, is this game we losing this game and not making the playoffs? I had a bet Washington was going to make the playoffs, and it was supposed to be some pretty good money coming my way, and now that's gone. This is why you just don't do it. Just don't do it. Yeah, Kenneth, mad respect for Stoner for making that decision. That's a fan right there. That's a fan. Bad decision, though. Bad decision. You can always follow the game in other ways. So it's been fun. EP, we appreciate you having on the show.
Thank you.
We'll have EP back. If you liked EP on the show, let her know. Boost that ego a little bit, because she's always worried about, how she looks on the camera, how people are going to perceive her. So we appreciate you coming in, filling in for the Stoner and Trev. Trev will be back on Wednesday. Stoner's a maybe. He's still traveling back from Vegas. So we'll see whether or not he's there, but we'll be breaking that down on Wednesday at 7:30. That's where we'll bring up the dollar bets, because Trev will be on for that one as well. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, until next time.
Heineke should have started.
Why we got to end like that? Be a fan.